Bit here, the nation's largest Muslim civil rights organization fully supporting charges against two men who allegedly used racial slurs and threats targeting African Americans in Sheboygan. Now, in all, 6 attackers were arrested, 2 facing charges for hate crimes. Scott and Ryan Roeder, Cristala McKinney says that she was driving home with her aunt on July 4th when they made a U-turn on a dead-end street. She says a group of people approached the car, started shouting at them.
The dude, they called us talking about go back to Milwaukee, throwing their beer cans at the cars. One of the dudes jumped off the porch, ran on Tanisha's side, and slapped her glasses off her face. They running up, like they running up towards us, get to hitting us. And that's when they tried to take me in their house. The dude was like, hang these.
Yeah. We're told when her dad, Gregory Thomas, got there, he says the suspects surrounded him. They say one person had a shovel, another had a knife.
The guy come on out with the shovel, and he like getting ready to swing the shovel. I got my hand on up so he wouldn't hit me in the face. So he hit me in the side twice.
Meanwhile, the Council on American Islamic Relations is praising the prosecution, issuing the following statement saying, quote, "This appears to be yet another manifestation of growing racism and white supremacy in our nation. We welcome the hate crime charges brought against these 2 suspects and urge community leaders and the public to speak out against this bigotry promoted on the highest levels of our society that can lead to such incidents."
The story leads off with the Council on American Islamic Relations and ends with a statement from them which says that this is another example of growing white supremacy in our nation. Where is the evidence for that? Reports are that Ryan Roeder was convicted in July 2018 of manufacture and delivery of heroin. Reports say neighbors said they were glad police arrested the Reuters, that they had been having trouble with them for years.
Neighbors here today told me they're glad we're here because they've been dealing with the Roeder family for years.
Isn't this just a rogue group of people? Nevertheless, CAIR is certainly eager to sound the alarm about white supremacy. But as long as we are being race conscious, consider the following evidence of CAIR's own racism.
Our state legislature really needs to look into putting forth a really comprehensive hate crimes bill that doesn't disproportionately affect minority or vulnerable communities as it has in other states.
In other words, white people should not receive hate crime law protection. I called the CAIR office and they confirmed to me that that is what he meant. CAIR is certainly stoking racial division by urging the removal of Civil War statues in North Carolina.
The National Communications Director for CAIR said, quote, "Symbols glorifying and honoring white supremacy, slavery, and treason should be repudiated by all Americans, not put on display at mainstream venues."
Muslims have nothing to do with the Civil War, just as CAIR has nothing to do with this story. CAIR is close to the fraudulent, racist Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter is our matter. Black Lives Matter is our campaign.
Did you know that almost all of the people CAIR attacks on TV are white? Indeed, last year, CAIR caused terminations, threatened livelihoods, or adversely affected the careers of people who did nothing more than say something on their Facebook page that CAIR did not like. In 2018, there were 15 separate incidents of CAIR doing this. And again, local newscasters are a willing participant in this scandal. Here is a list of all the people CAIR attacked on TV this year. Coincidentally, they are all white. With all the hate messages Mr. Leonard received on Facebook, there's not one word from CAIR. They incite people, and they use the TV to do it. In light of this, it is noteworthy that according to the FBI and CNN, white people receive more hate crimes than Muslims. CAIR is on TV too much. They're on TV every day around the country. Between April and December of last year, CAIR was on TV 289 times in that 244-day time period, for an average of over 32 times a month. This month, August, they've already been on TV 21 times, and they're just not newsworthy. CAIR had a media analyst value their access to the media at $143 million with an estimated audience of 15 billion. And that is just 1 year. If this group CAIR is allowed to get on the news as often as they do, hurt people, and incite racism on TV, then I think it is entirely appropriate, timely, and newsworthy to talk about who they are, where they came from, what they were doing before they formed CAIR, where their money comes from, what other people have said about them, and yes, what they do when allowed on TV.